Hello! Here we are. We're going to talk about number patterns today. We're going to take a look at a couple problems, and maybe we'll walk through them together, and maybe this will help you out. So, the first one I'm looking at is problem number 1, right there. Okay? Now, problem number 1 is telling us about, if we read it, which statement best describes this pattern. So, first thing we do is we look at over here this table. Now the addition table is telling us that this is plus, which means we're doing an adding. That's the most important thing to remember. That will help us solve the rest of the problems. So we're going to look at problem number A. Answer A says the sum, I'm going to underline that word, the sum of 8 and a number is equal to the sum of the number and 8. So I'm going to talk about two things here. First off, you notice I underline the word sum. When we say sum, what type of math is sum? Well, I'm hoping you remember sum is always for addition. It's the addition answer. Okay? Now, the next thing is if this is the addition answer, and then we have the other one is equal. Okay? And we know equal means literally that. Equal. Okay. Now, and one more thing to look at is we'll go through a couple more choices and make sure we understand them. Underneath we have the word product. Product of 8 and a number is equal to the sum of the number and 8. Now we have two different words there. We know sum, of course, is talking about addition. Okay? Product, on the other hand, is different. Product, do you remember what type of math that one is? Well, it's still an answer, but it's an answer for multiplication. Okay? So, we are talking about sum. It's an answer for addition. Product is an answer for multiplication. Okay? Now, I'm just going to take a look here. And I'm going to take a look at the first sentence here. The sum of 8 and a number is equal to the sum of the number and 8. So, I'm going to start with a little formula I'm going to make for myself. Here's my formula. So I have the sum of the number. I'm going to erase. I'm going to start a little bit over. Let's start again. So sum of 8, and sum means addition, so I put an addition symbol, and a number equals, okay, the number, I'm putting n for number, plus 8. Now n can mean any number. So for example, I could check this out. I could go with like, let's say 2. Okay, so 2, 8 plus 2, does that equal 2 plus 8? Well, what's 8 plus 2? Now, hopefully you said 10. And 2 plus 8, is that also 10? Huh. That sounds like that this sentence here, right here, what we just talked about, is correct. But let's check it out. Let's make sure. I'm going to erase this. And now I'm going to look at the next one. The product of 8 and a number is equal to the sum of the number and 8. Now let's remember, product means multiplication. So I'm going to write 8 times n. Okay? Equals. Then it says here, sum of the number. So that's n again. And sum means plus 8. I don't know. That doesn't sound right. But again, I'm going to test it out. That's what we do here. We test it out. So, best color. I'm going to go 8 times, and let's go with 2 again. We're going to go for 2 this time again. I'm circle in a different color, make it look more interesting. So 8 times 2. What does 8 times 2 equal? I'm fairly certain it equals 16. Now, does that equal 8 plus 2. Sorry, I should have said 2 plus 8. Let me fix that one and make it better. Does that equal 2 plus 8? Now, you should know that 2 plus 8, as we said above earlier, was 10. So, no. This one, B, is definitely wrong. We're going to cross out. We know A is correct. So, obvious enough, there's only one correct answer. The best one so far is A. And let's just run through a little bit of the others. Same habit. We're going to read through them again. The sum of 8, there's that word sum, addition, and a number is equal to the product of the number and 8. Well, that's the same as that, except it's flipped around. So, I'm going to erase this one for a moment. And I'm going to write in a different color because I'm going to remember it better. We said the sum of 8. So that means 8 plus 2 equals the product of the number. That means multiplying times 8. Now, if you remember right, this was definitely wrong. So, is the other one also wrong? Remember, this was wrong. If this one up here is wrong, then the second one underneath is also going to be wrong. It's the same idea, just they flip this and this around. Still wrong, still not correct. Okay? I put N there. Oops. Anyways, I'm hoping right now what you're seeing is there's only one correct answer. Definitely A. And because when you go back, you're going to see this one here. The product of 8 and a number is equal to the product of the number and 8. Well, let's take a look at it. So this time we're going to go back to black. Now we're talking multiplication. 8 times n, does that equal n times 8? Well, to be honest, it doesn't really matter because we know the product is talking about one idea only, multiplying. But if we look at that table up there, it's talking about addition. So, that's again, it's wrong because we're talking about the wrong type of math. We're talking about product here. And that is not what we're doing here. We're not talking about product, we're talking about addition. Okay, so there's only one answer, A. So that's that first problem. Let's move to the next one. Okay? Oops. That did not quite work out for. I'm sorry, kiddo. I'm having a hard time getting this one working right. There we go. Now there's number 2. Okay. Now, number 2. The two highlighted numbers in the addition table are equal. Well, let's take a look. Of course they are. They're both 13. I'll make it a little bit bigger. That one's 13. That one's 13. So now the question is, which equation do the highlighted numbers prove to be true? All this is asking here is simply adding up the numbers. So 2 plus 4. What's 2 plus 4? 6. Then we have 6 plus 5. Well, 6 plus 5, that should equal 11. Okay? Now, does that equal to the same thing as the other side? Well, let's find out. What's 4 plus 5? 9. Now, 2 plus 9, does that also equal 11? Well, let's think about it for a second. 9, 10, 11. Yes, it does. Now, that one equals 11, though. Is that the answer? No. It's wrong because it's not 13. So all we have to do with these three problems here is simply find out which one equals 13. And if you look through them, 2 plus 5, well, that equals 7. 7 plus 5, did you get to 12 yet? That is the answer. So 12 on this side. And this side here, when we add 5 plus 5, we get 10 again. Plus 2 more, that's 12 also. So again, all these equal 12. So they're wrong because of that reason. Okay, so now we're looking at the next one, C. Where again, we're going to add them up. 3 plus 5. There's a 3. looking for 13. Well, 3 plus 5, that equals 8, plus 4, well, there's that 12 again. I'm going to say right now, since there's a 12, it's definitely wrong. Remember, I'm looking for what number? Hopefully you said, again, you remembered it's 13. Okay, so last one. We've got wrong, A is wrong, B is wrong, C is wrong. Now we're looking at D. All right, D, let's see if you can prove us right. 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 5 more. Well, that equals 13. Let's check to make sure. 5 plus 5, that's 10. 3 plus 10, well, that equals 13. There we go. That's how that one's correct. Okay? All right, let's move to the next page. There we go. Now, again, this one's actually not that hard either. It might seem a little tricky, but it's not. Pardon me. So in this problem here, we're asking what rule do the numbers in the highlighted column follow? There's our highlighted column right there. And first thing we know is it's a multiplication table. Okay? Second thing we can say is that since it's multiplication, we're obviously seeing, remember, what is multiplication? Well, hopefully, if you remember right, multiplication, you could say, of course, skip counting, right? But it's also repeated, what is it? Repeated what? Adding, right? Yeah, you know this one. Repeated adding. So, that's why they say add. Every single one of theirs is saying add. But, well, how much are we adding? Well, if you look back up at the number, right there, it's telling us is adding how much? 4. So what's the correct answer? Well, right there. Okay? Alright, that's why that one's correct. Now one more problem we'll go through, okay? We're going to take a look at one more problem. And this again, if I can get over there, is another more difficult problem. But it's only difficult because of the wordiness of it. It's very wordy, okay? So, let's take a look at this one. We look at the table. Now, first thing you notice, it's a multiplication table again. See it? All right. So we know, since this is multiplication, we're thinking what type of word is for multiplication? We have two choices, of course. We had sum and we had product. Which word is talking about the answer for multiplication? This one, product. Answer for multiplication. Oof, my handwriting is so bad. Okay. So, here we go. So now we have product is the answer for multiplication, which means we're going to be looking for the word, for any word that's talking about the word product. Okay? This is really going to have to be highlighted a couple times on that one. On the other hand, sum is the addition, is the answer for, I think I might have accidentally gave it away. Addition. So, that's not going to be right either. That's not going to help us out probably. I'll tell you right now, sum is not going to be helping us out. Now, before we move on, what group of multiples are we looking at? Did you notice? They're all 6. Okay? So, we have to remember we're looking at multiples of 6 here. Now, let's read it again. We're going to be looking for the word product. Which statement best explains this pattern? Well, there's the word product. The product of 6 and a number is not equal to the product of the number and 6. All right, so what they're saying there, we have 6 and a number. Now, just like last time, I'm going to use the number 6, but I'm also going to use an n. So in this case, I'd write it out like this. 6 times n. Okay, now here's where it gets weird. Not equal. So I have to change what I'm saying here. I can't just do that. I have to say no, not equal. Not equal to the number times 6. Remember, we're talking about product. So every time we hear the word product, we know we're doing multiplication. Okay? All right. So, is this true? Remember the saying, best explains it. That means, best explains means, is the idea true? One more time. Best explains. Is it true? All right. Well, let's work it out. That's what I always like to do. So 6 times, let's go easy, 3. 6 times 3 equals 18. All right. There's a 6. There's a 3. Let's highlight that bad boy. 6 times 3, 18. There it is. Now we're going to do it the other way. Does it equal or not equal 3 times 6? Well, same idea. There's my 3. There's my 6. And that's 18 also. So they are equal. So look, they're equal the whole way. Is A correct? No. A is wrong. Simple as that. Now I'm going to look at B. B says the sum of 6 and a number. Well, wait a second. It says sum. Sum is for, as we said before, addition. Remember? We said sum is for addition, so it's definitely wrong. And it keeps going with that number sum. The sum of a number of 6 and a number is equal to the sum. Okay, right now I'm going to tell you it's wrong because it's talking about what type of math? Okay, I'm hoping you're saying it's talking about addition. But we're not doing addition. We're doing it's multiplication. So, boom. B's wrong. All right, now let's look at C. So, C says the product of 6 and a number is equal to the product of the number and 6. All right, so I'm going to clean up here first. I'm going to write that out. I'm going to write it out with the word 6. Now I heard the word product, so I do a multiplication symbol. And then I heard the word number, so I put an N just to help myself out. Okay? Product of 6 and a number. This is equal to the product of the number and 6. So again, product, so I don't put the symbol yet, I put number, that's N, times, that's the word product. That's what makes us write the word product. I should say we write the times to use the word product. There's 6. Okay, so now again, we're going to prove it right. I don't know. What do you say? Should we go with 6 again? 6 and 3 again? Yeah? Alright, so we're going to write it down. 6 times 3. 3 times 6. I'm substituting the number 3 for n. Now, I pull up my 3. I'm going to take my 3 times 6 and my 6 times 3. 6 times 3. What does that look like to you? Looks like it's 18. Okay. Now, 3 times 6. 3 to the 6. That's 18. Well, looks like those guys are equal. What do you know? So the product of 6 and a number is equal to the product of the number and 6. That's true. So there's our answer. Okay? So in other words, we have to remember the trick to these problems is remember the words, okay? Remember your words like sum and product. And then if you have to, make your little formulas like I did. That helped out a lot, I think, for me. Making formulas was very helpful. So I'm going to write it down again for you. To do this one, remember vocabulary. Let's pull this off the side. Remember vocabulary. and also make equations. Okay? That's all this really is. And of course, solve them. Alrighty. Anyways, I hope this helps you out. Okay? And I'm glad you listened to me. Goodbye.